Hi everyone, I'm Jose Delgado with Orvis, and I'm one of our Belize trip hosts and travel experts. I'm here to talk through all the gear, including rods, reels, lines, leaders, and flies, so you can be successful on your upcoming trip to Belize. All right, let's get into it. Let's talk rods. We have a lot of great options for you, but there's none better than our Helios. For bonefish, I recommend the 9-foot 8-weight rod. For a windy day for bones or permit, I recommend the 9-foot 9-weight. For a windy day for permit or juvenile tarpon, I recommend a 9-foot 10-weight. I prefer to have a rod rigged for each species, that way I'm ready for every scenario. And I don't have to change flies, but if I was just gonna bring two, it would be the 9-foot 8-weight or the 9-foot 10-weight. For those chasing migratory tarpon, I recommend a 9-foot 11-weight or a 12-weight rod. Let's talk reels. The three main things you will need out of your saltwater reel are, first, a large arbor for decreased line memory and increased rate of retrieve. The second is a sealed drag. Third, strong stopping power. We offer two great options. The first is our Hydros. Second is our Mirage. The Mirage would be my recommendation because it is fully sealed, which keeps out not only salt water, but also sand. Another one of my favorite features is the 330-degree drag knob, which means in half a turn, you can back the drag off if you find yourself in a tricky situation, such as the fish tangled in the prop or wrapped around a mangrove. In terms of size, the 8-weight uses a number 4, and the 9 and 10 weight rods use a number 5. And for those fishing for the migratory fish, they're going to be using a size 6. For lines, we offer two different types, a textured or a smooth option. There's the textured, which sheds water better and it generates more line speed. However, some don't like the sound that it makes going through the guides, and when stripping, it can cause some abrasion on your finger. At the end of the day, it just kind of comes down to personal preference. At Orvis, you're going to see some of the Orvis Pro lines or the scientific angler lines being recommended. For the bonefish, I recommend the Orvis Pro Saltwater Tropic in an 8-weight. This is going to deliver flies delicately in shallow water, which is what we want for those fish. For the permit, I recommend the Grand Slam clear tip line. That clear tip is going to give you a little bit more stealth for those spooky fish. This 3/4 weight line will also give you a little more punch with those heavier flies. For the juvenile tarpon, I recommend the Grand Slam clear tip line as well, the same that we recommended for the permit, but in a 10-weight version, again, for the juvenile tarpon. For those fishing for migratory tarpon, I recommend two lines. The first one being a 11-weight or a 12-weight, depending on your rod, floating line. The second, a either intermediate, which would be my first choice, or if you find yourself fishing for tarpon in the lagoons, rivers, or channels, go with a depth charge version. Let's talk leaders. The leaders play a huge role in this whole equation. This is your connection to the fish. So we want to make sure that we're buying quality fluorocarbon leaders. We'll start with bonefish. The bonefish, if you're throwing light flies, we're going to fish a 9-foot 12-pound leader with matching tippet spool. For heavier flies for bonefish, a 9-foot 16-pound with the matching 16-pound spool. For permit, in the lighter fly side of things, we're going to use the 9-foot 16-pound. And if you find yourself throwing something heavier, we're going to use the 9-foot 20-pound option and matching tippet. For tarpon, we're going to use straight 60 to 80-pound fluoro, and you can also use these for jacks. And if the opportunity arises, you're gonna be happy you had one of these on the boat, a predator leader, because barracudas are a lot of fun. Let's talk about flies. A common question I get is how many flies I should take. My general suggestion for 3 to 5 days on the water is a dozen flies for each species that I want to focus on. Let's start with bones. It's good to have an assortment of Crazy Charlies, gotchas, and Christmas Island specials in sizes 4 to 8 in both bead chain and dumbbell eyes. It's also good to have a few larger shrimps, such as the Peterson spawning shrimp and the mantis shrimp for the bones in deeper water or a school of smaller permit. For your larger permit that you typically find roaming the flats or lagoons, you'll want a selection of various crab patterns. Some of my favorites are the flexos, the bower crabs, the grand slam, the crimp, the avalon crab, and the merkin. For your tarpon, juvenile, larger resident, and migratory fish, you want to take a handful of patterns in black and red, purple and black, and chartreuse. I would recommend a selection that includes your tarpon toads, tarpon bunnies, black death and cockroach style patterns, and for those fishing lagoons, rivers, and channels, it's key to have a few larger baitfish patterns, such as these here or your puglisi style. Lastly, always take a needlefish for the cuda and a popper to get the jacks fired up. One great thing about Belize is the easy travel. No matter where you're coming from, you just fly into Belize City and you're just a quick puddle jumper away from your final destination. I like to take my gear and one set of clothes that I plan to fish in, just in case your check bag decides to take a detour. I like to use the Orvis carry-it-all case, as you see here, which fits my rods in the socks, my reels, my leaders, and all the various tippets. Don't forget that extra fly line. Down here, sun protecting gloves, stripping guards, because you know you're gonna catch a bunch of fish, our flies, and again, the sun protectant clothing, at minimum 1 set, so that no matter what happens to your check bag, we're still enjoying the main reason we're going there, which is for the fishing. So for the fishing specific clothing, let's start with kind of our traditional vented style fishing shirt. This is our open air caster and it's UPF 40. I like to fish our Orvis Sun Defense. This is UPF 50 and it has a hood on it to protect your ears, the back of your neck, and for me, my head. I also enjoy fishing in our Orvis Dry Cast. This is gonna have that buttery feel of bamboo, but also have the buff. And either of these options paired with a buff is gonna give you all the sun protection that you need for your face. For bottoms, I would suggest our Jackson Quick Dry shorts. These are incredibly fast drying and they're still UPF 50. And if you're gonna be fishing all day and you want a little more protection, we have the same thing but in a pant version. Super fast drying, great sun protection, lightweight, so whether you're up on the bow or you're just kind of sitting waiting for your turn to fish, these are gonna keep you comfortable. I hope this was helpful. Thanks again for watching, and most of all, enjoy your trip, have fun.